Okay, so this is the last part of the learning videos. So this is the second part of in videos of the learning outcome number 5. Okay, so you already have did discuss on the first two steps in the system analysis, initial investigation and system survey. Okay, so the third steps is actually uh, feasibility study. Okay, but I will not discuss further on the feasibility study because this at this point the system analysis they will do more thorough feasibility analysis that also being conducted during the system plan, okay, that we discussed before. Okay, they have it after the system planning, they have feasibility analysis. Okay, so during this stage in the system analysis, they do more thorough on the feasibility analysis. Okay, and then they will determine the project viability. Okay, so we discuss on the next steps. The step number 4 in the system analysis is information needs and system requirements. So once project, okay, is deemed feasible, okay, the company will identify the information needs of the accounting information system users and documents the system requirements. Okay, so if you refer table 20.6, okay, table 20.6, so those are the possible contents of the system requirements. Okay, for example, under process, okay, so they will describe the business process description, describe the business process, okay, including what is to be done and by whom. Okay, so they give detail what are the requirements related to the business process, and then other things that must include is data elements, data structure, the output, input, documentations, constraints, control, and reorganizations. Okay, so all those are the requirements that they need to explain in detail and describe, okay, so that they can have a picture when they want to come up with the design after this. Alright, so you can see details of the content in the table 20.6. Alright, and then if you refer figure 20.5, okay, you can see the pictures. They have 8 pictures. You can see the how the cradle actually. Okay, so each of the pictures you can see how they built the cradle under the tree. Okay, and you can see description below the pictures. For example, the first picture on your left, top left, as proposed by the users management. Then the next one as sold to the top management, okay, as planned by the project development team, okay, as approved by the steering committee. So you can see different cradle being designed and designed by different team members, okay, that involved with the management, analysts, steering committee. Okay, and then if you can refer to the bottom right pictures, okay, what the users actually needed. Okay, so actually the cradle that the users needed is only use the tires. Okay, so if you can refer to this picture, okay, they give you the view that the user requirements is very important. Okay, and then sometimes when the users want to communicate, okay, or identify their needs, okay, it can be described differently, and also it can be understand by the uh, development team differently. Okay, so when they have this miscommunication, okay, uh, they the project, okay, might be fail, okay, due to this insufficient or inaccurate user requirements identification. Okay, so you can see the user's needs different, but description by the development team is different. Okay, so this is very important to have documented the user requirements, and then they need to thoroughly get the feedback from the user, so that they know what are the needs by the users for the proposed system. Okay. uh, okay, so under this step, information needs and system requirement, they need to also know the system objective and also the system constraint. Okay, so it's very important, okay, for them to determine the system objective, so that the analyst and the user also can focus on those elements that most vital to the AIS success. So kalau if you refer table 20.7, they can list down all the information system objective. For example, the objective of usefulness, economy, reliability, availability. Okay, so actually this one you already go through during AIS 615. Okay, the usefulness of the system. So the system will be used. Uh, what you call that? Uh, the they will be useful when they fulfill these all those objective. Okay, they can give useful information. Okay, the information provided are reliable. Okay, they can get the information timely and so on. Okay, so they, when they want to design the system, okay, they are vital for them to um, look at this AIS objective, so that the system that they propose will be success, or develop the system that they're going to develop is be success. Okay, and then also they need to consider the constraints, the system constraint. So organizational constraint usually make it impossible to develop all parts of the new system simultaneously. So therefore the system is divided into smaller subsystem or module. Okay, so normally they will develop a smaller module or subsystem, and then they will integrate into one big system. Okay, so the system success often depends on the ability to cope with this organization constraint. Okay, so the common constraint include governmental agency requirements. Okay, maybe they have different requirements from the government. So, for example, related to the tax regulations, or maybe anything that relate to the external from the government agency. And then constraint in terms of management policy and guideline, lack of sufficiently qualified staff, that also include as the constraint. Okay, they don't have the staff that have skill or qualification. Okay, and then the capabilities and attitudes of the system users, available technology, and also limitation on the financial resources. Okay, so they have 4 strategies, okay, for them to determine these requirements. um, the first one, they need to ask the users what they need. Okay, so they directly, maybe they can conduct the interview or do the survey, like we discussed under system survey just now. Okay, and then analyze the external system. Okay, so they can do comparing, or they analyze what are those systems that already have in the markets, or maybe implemented in other organization. Okay, and then examine the existing system use. This is where they did during the system analysis nah. Okay, they during the system survey, during the gather the information, so they examine what are requirements under existing system use. And then other strategy, they can create the prototype. Okay, prototype. So the system also can have the prototype. Maybe they create the prototype of the output screen, or maybe the input screen, the documents. Okay, so from the prototype they can get feedback from the users, and then from there they can determine the users needs. Okay, determine the users requirement. Alright. Those are the four strategies that they can conduct to uh, determine the requirements. Okay, and then they also need to do documentation of this user requirement and then get approval. So the detailed requirement will be explained exactly what the system must produce and should be created and documented. Okay, and then they should support by the document. Okay, it should supported by any of the sample input or output form, or maybe they have charts, and then if they can have the conceptual system that is explained by the user, they can support also to the this document. Okay, and then when the user requirements have been determined and documented, the project team will meet the project team meets with the user. Okay, so they will meet the user, and then they will double check with the user and get feedback from the user. Okay, whether that those requirements is sufficient, or the maybe have a miscommunication, for example, that we discussed in the figure 20.5 just now. Okay, if they lack of communication, maybe they have different understanding, so they will so the team, okay, will get feedback from the user. Alright, and then the last is actually this one is the last step. Okay, step number 5, system analysis report. So this report will provide management with the findings of the analysis phase. Okay, so they will concluded in this report. Okay, they summarize and documents the analysis activities, and they will this will serve as the repository of data from which system designers can draw the and also can be used for the next stage. Okay, for the next stage, if you remember in the figure 20.1, the next stage is the conceptual design. So this analysis report will be used in the conceptual design when the system analysts want to evaluate, okay, or they want to design the specification. Okay, and then you can refer to table 20.3. That's the example of the system analysis report prepared by the shopper smart. We refer the case, okay, the integrative case. So it can have content related to the goals and objective, problem, opportunity, the project scope, okay, relationship of project to the overall system plan, current system operations, user requirements, feasibility analysis, system constraint, recommendation for the new system, proposed project participants and work plan. Okay, and also the if they have the support documents, okay, appendix and so on. Okay, so this is very important documents to be that will be used on the next stage. Okay, so whether they want the decision, okay, made by the steering committee, whether they want to go on no go for the proposed system. Okay, uh, they will be made during these 3 times in the system analysis. Okay, during the initial investigation. So if you remember, during the initial investigation, they do thorough study on the current system. So at this stage, okay, the committee will decide whether they want to proceed or not with the proposed system. Okay, and then at the end of the feasibility study, okay, that's also the times then when the system analyst or the steering committee will decide whether the proposed project is feasible or not. Okay, whether they they want to proceed with the new project or new proposed system. Okay, and then at the last times is during this end of the analysis phase. Okay, when they have a thorough study, okay, from the report that they prepared, okay, they can review whether they want to proceed, okay, to the next stage to develop the system. Alright, so that's the related to the first stage in the system development life cycle, related to the system analysis. Okay, and then on the next stage, conceptual design, that we will discuss in the chapter 21. Okay, so if you have any questions or issues related to this chapter 20, okay, you may ask me in the comment section in Google Classroom, or you also can give feedback in the Telegram groups. Okay, we can discuss in the Telegram groups. Alright, so with that, I end this presentation or the lecture on this recorded lecture related to the chapter 20, introduction to the system development and system analysis. Okay, so with that, Assalamualaikum, and then I see you on the next recorded video related to chapter 21. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good day, very good day.